the common denominator that I keep coming back to is, does anybody like their kids enough to spend downtime with them? That's what I get sad about. It's like we're farming them out in 20 different directions and we're signing up for everything when summer really is supposed to be relaxing, and it's time that you get to spend QT with your kids because it's a rat race all through the school year.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty, coming to you from Bring It On Studios. Sitting here with my girls, Jennifer Farley, and I'm Darian, and we love coming to you every week. This week, we have a very exciting show. Today, we're going to talk about the game plan to keep all the chaos in kids' sports, keep it in play. There's so many moving parts left and right. But first, while you're all sitting there, can you go to all the social media platforms that you can and hit the click and subscribe button? Girls Gone Gritty, that would be amazing. And today we're going to entertain you with our top 3 weekly headlines. Farley is going to talk to us about how to teach an old dog new tricks. And that will be our Got Grit winner. And then we love to end the show with a favorite song of the week. What was the highlight of this week?
I think that was amazing.
Oh, thank
I
you.
agree. I know exactly what's coming at me and where direction we're going in. I feel really organized.
Organization is good. My win of the week was getting a lot done at my house. I'm in that mode where the kids are getting ready to go back to school, and I'm feeling that gear up for fall, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I accomplished a lot of bucket things. I got my garage organized. And I always feel like when you get organized this time of year, it helps not only your physical presence living at home, but your mental status as well. So getting organized was my win of the week.
I guess that we were on the same page,
Shocker.
because I moved my child into New York City and we got really organized, and that was a lot of work. And the city is no place to have fun moving in, especially with a non-doorman building and somebody that can't lift a finger because she had a procedure. And my husband also had a back out. So it was all on moi.
Shocker again.
But we're moved in and it's all organized.
And did you meet your virtual doorman?
There is no virtual doorman. That was another listing.
So bizarre, virtual doorman. Everything's virtual. It's crazy. But what wasn't virtual was the surf. We finally got waves. So it was great to be out in the water, in the
Interesting.
ocean. The top 3.
Number 3, YouTube. You too are being banned in Australia, along with TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, and other EU countries that are following. What about us?
I don't understand why we don't jump on board smarter countries that are doing things right, like less additives and preservatives and not allowing us to ingest toxic things. This is upsetting. And we've been talking about TikTok in the US for such a long time, but Australia is not allowing this for their kids for a very good reason.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying that teens can still watch videos, but they can't upload any videos because 30% of minors encountered harmful content on YouTube. Dee Dee doesn't have a phone, but she has mine all the time. So might as well get her a phone and then monitor how much time. But I look at some of the videos, and the problem is one video that leads to another video, which leads to an algorithm. I never subscribe to this. Australia's broader effort to keep kids protected from online harm. It's like sparking full global conversations.
But for whatever reason, the good old US is the last to get on board because of money.
But I think if you're watching a video, it's the same as if you can't comment. Dee Dee's not commenting, but she's still watching these naughty videos.
Stupid.
They never pick their head up. I hate it so much. I hate her on a cell phone looking at that. I
We said, how would they enforce this? And we thought, you're going to have to upload credentials and you're going to have facial recognition. And as soon as somebody does something illegal, then the company that is providing gets the fine, the penalty. So it's going to be hard to enforce, but maybe that's what we're waiting for, hopefully.
Yeah, so fines are going up.
And then we'll jump on the bandwagon.
I hope so.
Well, platforms that don't comply, they're getting fines up to $50 million.
We can only hope. Well, that brings us to number 2 in the globalization of the world. Turbulent times, they are on the rise. Please take your seat now.
The weird weather cycle that we're seeing with tsunamis and cyclones and crazy fires and 100-degree days is also manifesting in the air and in the ocean, which we talked about. So I think that these airplane trips are becoming a little more crazy and chaotic.
It was 45 minutes into this one specific flight where the plane dropped out of the sky 1,000 feet and 45 passengers were injured.
Terrifying.
There were broken bones. They said it was similar to an earthquake, and it's terrifying, and it's happening more times
Like
than
an
many.
elevator.
They said that 7 crew members and drink carts were flown everywhere. And the problem is, it's because of global warming, is that you can't see this clear air turbulence. Normally you can read on the radar, okay, there's turbulence coming up, and in the sky, there's different weather patterns. It's clear and beautiful. And all of a sudden these planes are literally dropping out of the sky, and it's happening more times than many now.
And being kind to your flight attendants, because my cousin's a flight attendant and she said the people are so nasty about having to sit in their seat. So protect yourself out there. Number one, speaking of protection, but Botox? No, Botox, like your derriere. Taking it in the rear to fix anal fissures. No wrinkly sphincters here.
Anal fissures, you either are in the know or you're not, and hopefully you're not, but they are incredibly painful. I have a family member that deals with this, and it has been a lifelong problem for him, not my husband. Anywho, the problem with this anal fissure nightmare, as soon as you get one, you can't go to the bathroom again without re-injuring it over and over and over. So if the Botox is the miracle, I think that people will be thrilled. I don't know if it makes your anal look younger too. Some people will pay a lot of money for that these days. Maybe it'll change the color as well.
I said, why don't you get a 6-pack? You can hit your face up, then you can hit your butt up and hit whatever else you want. Hey now.
6-pack of what? I'll take a 6-pack and not that. Well, that wraps up our top 3. Thank you so much for that. I think those were kind of random and fun. So we can close the anal fissures and move on to something way more important that we'll cover, which is equally a pain in the rear end. It's managing our sports schedules in the summer. We've got lots of kids when it comes to this beautiful month of August and that transitions. Girls, let's just go to Dee Dee, because Dee's schedule is just,
this is what happens when you have an only child.
I say balancing her schedule today is like playing a game of Tetris.
Oh, it's all on you.
It's all on me. It's as if she has a mini Olympics every day. For instance, can I just give you her schedule just for today?
Okay. Now, for those of you listening,
this is your fault, by the way. This is your fault.
No, it's my fault. And that's why I thought this would be a great topic to talk about, because I always said, you guys oversubscribed and here I am. Do you want to offer your child every experience out there? And we're lucky enough that we have options out of school, go into sailing for a month. From sailing, she'd change in the car, put on her tennis whites, and then she'd go to swimming. Then after swimming, she goes right to volleyball. Now we're incorporating soccer into the mix. So soccer's from 7 to 9. Today, she started out with junior guards because sailing was over. So she said, I get to do junior guards, right into surf camp. Then she goes into town, she's shopping with her friends, straight to a snack, right to volleyball camp. It's a lot, and it falls on me. She had a lacrosse camp as well. I said, you know what, you can't do it all. So the question is how do you decide what to do when? Because she's in everything.
Kid on one thing,
but she's in everything.
And I definitely did a lot of things with my kids too. But the common denominator that I keep coming back to is, does anybody like their kids enough to spend downtime with them? That's what I get sad about. It's like we're farming them out in 20 different directions and we're signing up for everything when summer really is supposed to be relaxing, and it's time that you get to spend QT with your kids, because it's a rat race all through the school year. And that we are all guilty of. And I understand exactly what you're trying to do for Dee Dee. But on the other hand, do they even like their children if they're oversubscribed? Like, wow. I really like my kid, and you really like your kid. We all like our kids, but
the time from venue to venue, we're rocking, we're cranking tunes, we're changing outfits, and what she's been doing, and she loves it. You want to do it? She's like, yes. I said, today, are you sure? She's like, Mom, I want to do surf camp. Look at the waves. Let's go. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. She comes into a family of energy and bring it on. I want to do it all. But there are kids that need a break, and they need to be able to sleep in, and they need time on the couch, and they need to have not an agenda and go make their own fun and try to figure out what they're going to do and entertain themselves. And that's the hard part, is we're over committing our kids in so many different ways. A lot of these camps that Dee Dee has to sign up for are part of her club team.
Money grab.
It's a money grab, but if you get left in the dust, then you're not on the A team. So it's getting complicated. And as we've touched base in multiple episodes in the past, they don't respect Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving. There's always a basketball game or football game, Christmas break.
I wonder, you guys got to come skiing. You guys went through this. Jen, you went through it with all your with all your boys, with all the sports?
Yeah. Well, listen, it's a couple of things. You only have 24 hours in a day, and the kids do at some point need sleep as much as you want to get them to get every single last thing in. And the sleep is so important. We covered it on our other episode. They require more sleep as they age. There's a time period when they're little that they need a lot of sleep, but then as they become teenagers, they require a lot of sleep. And if they're cranking on all cylinders 8, 9 hours a day, it makes it really hard for them to do what's effectively. You do have to get to a point where you are selective with your time. Not being able to go to Vermont meant that your kid was in a winter sport. Not being able to go on spring break means your kid was actively in a spring sport. It does get to a point where, and I have people that give pushback on those two things in particular, where that's the choice you've made. If you want to be a high school athlete, then you need to participate in that sport when there are breaks. There is no winter break. In the fall for football, go Bucks, you can't miss anything. You cannot miss any bit of football because the contact sport is so elevated that they're worried about injury. So I think that you have to look at the age of your kid, what they're interested in, what you're trying to impose on them. If they're loving, like Dee Dee is, going to every single thing and being
This is the only time in life that she's going to be able to do that.
I think right
Agreed.
now what happens is that she's test driving what she likes.
Exactly.
The problem, and these are hard decisions, what is more important when you're double scheduled? You have to always go for the travel team. So the problem is these sports nowadays want to be 360 days of the year. They want you 4 seasons. You have to make a call. What's the priority? Fall is coming. Priority is soccer. Dee Dee loves soccer. She's going to do travel soccer. So there's Mad Dog Lacrosse, which she absolutely loves. But
There's fall ball there too.
But at that, her priority will be soccer. And then she'll do lacrosse when she can. Come winter, she's skiing and playing lacrosse. The kids have a program in Vermont. Come spring, it's flipped. They still have soccer, but now lacrosse takes priority. You just don't know. It's hard. It's where do you put your heart and soul into? I think you have to dig deep for the season.
Well,
Personality at this age.
And I
At
also
this
think family first. Family first. Family comes before anything else. So if you've got a family obligation, that's
rare.
first. And after that is your sport that you signed up for. And academics are equally. So you cannot be an athlete and not have those other two things in check. And the golden egg, it is very rare. And people are all concerned about the wins. They're all concerned about moving to the next level. And the love of sport is really what you're trying to keep and maintain over the summer when they're supposed to have some downtime.
Summer's different.
It's hard. It's a life lesson. You have to go with the ebbs and the flows. It's preparing you for the real world. When you're in rec, yeah, maybe you can jump from one rec team to the next because this isn't working for you and it's young and they're insignificant. When you're in middle school, you get what you get in middle school. You get what you get in high school. It's not like you can really pick either. So I think you get what you get.
Oh, Dee Dee's lacrosse.
So if you're hopping from one program to the next and one might not be as talented or as dialed in or connected, then you're doing a disservice to your kid.
Right.
So for us, we weren't hopping around because you want to be on that team for 7th grade and 8th grade, because now you're going into your freshman year where you're getting looks. And that's when you get on coaches' radars. And if you're jumping around and you're not on a team that you have chemistry and everybody a well-oiled machine together, you're SOL.
Our motto is we want you to learn the sport and have fun. We don't care what the sport is. We just care that she's having fun. The athletes, they level out. So right now, some are mature than the others and crush. This could be them plateauing. You never know at what point someone's going to plateau. And the burnout rate for any sport and the overuse injury, because they have to be in the sport all year round. But I think you have to prioritize, what does she love to do?
Yeah. What does the kid want?
Or what I'm asking.
4th and 5th grade is where it becomes like a very real thing.
I was going to ask, at what level do you think you have to commit? Because I know Chase was a soccer player and a lacrosse player. And what's that time frame?
She was forced to make a decision, which was
what age?
She loved soccer so much. And by the way, all 3 of my girls were dancers.
My God, you with the racks of clothes.
We did the dance
Put that away.
The dance team said, you've got to stay for the end of the dance competition when we get the awards. And I'm like, nope, we've got a game, whether it was soccer or lacrosse. And she said, if you don't stay for the awards, you're out. And we're like, see ya.
Bye.
So now we're doing exclusively just soccer and lacrosse at the same time. And it was,
had she handled that more properly, you would have stayed with the dance program. If she would have said, no
I loved
problem, Far, come when you can. We want you no matter
but
what.
even dance, let me tell you, was such a racket. My kids wanted to take hip hop. You couldn't just take hip hop without doing ballet, classical, and lyrical. So before you know it, I have my kids in 5 classes so that they can take the one class that they wanted, which was a joke. I always wanted them to take ballet for good reasons. I signed my kids up for ballet. Naturally, they wanted to take a hip hop class, but you couldn't take a hip hop class without taking XYZ PDQ. So it became overwhelming. Everything is like that. Even with dancing. One of Abby's best friends, she dances 7 hours a day. Now, granted, she's going and dancing at Minnesota. Kid never, ever complained about having to go to practice. She works so hard, but that is a totally different animal. That is a beast. And you're laying out cash and hours, and the dancing backdrop is just as aggressive and wants just as much of your time as all of these sports that our kids are playing. As far as to answer your question about soccer, Chase played in a lacrosse game as a sub on Mackenzie's team one day early in the morning. And then she had a soccer game, and somebody knew that she didn't have fresh legs and told the coach she had already played in a lacrosse game. And from that point on, this coach recognized that maybe lax was going to be a priority to Chase over soccer. And he wanted her soccer, 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 and he stopped playing her. And it was a hard lesson to learn. And I pulled her out because it was atrocious at that age. I want to say it must have been 7th grade. It was 7th and 8th grade when everybody's kind of ramping up their soccer. And I said to her, "You're not loving it. And this is a hurtful situation for you. And you have just told me that you're sad about soccer and you don't want to play anymore. And you love lacrosse." So that made the decision very easy for Chase. And I said, "Look, you've got high school soccer, which
Yep.
will be so fun for you." And they freaking won states, and she had a blast and played with a lot of her friends that she had played club with. So thankfully, we got a little lucky, and a life lesson helped us make the decision.
You don't always have to be on a travel team. If you're going to high school, there's not so much pressure all the time.
Oh, there is.
And I feel like there's always so much pressure for you to have to be on the travel team. Then you
But
have to get a trainer. Then you have to get privates.
But I'm gonna argue with you on this. Mackenzie Boyle at RBC was a phenomenal basketball player, but she wasn't playing AAU. And because she wasn't playing AAU, her coach would not play her because he couldn't justify somebody that was making a year-round commitment to basketball, and they take it very seriously over there. Even though Mackenzie was playing volleyball and playing lacrosse, and lacrosse was her number one sport, he would not play her because she was not doing the travel thing. And
Right.
not only that, he couldn't even justify giving her a letter after playing a basketball season, getting elevated up to varsity. They won the TOP. She missed the first 13 practices and tryouts for lacrosse, and she didn't even let her because he said, "I can't justify giving you a letter when everybody else is a year-round player and they played all season on varsity."
It's so political. Sports are political, and it's a travesty because kids need to be kids. And if you're lucky enough to introduce them to sports across the board, they're eventually will say, "That's my favorite sport." Or I drink every day. The more you're able to offer your kids, whether it's dancing, theater, sports, and activities, let them make the decision, right?
Well,
And
and
whatever's good for you and your family.
And it's your job to introduce them like you are to a lot of different things and
Agree.
encourage them and keep them on track and make sure that when they commit to something, I never let my kids quit. I think it's important to recognize, Farley with her girls, there are 3 D1 athletes. Most of the stats are 7%. Just 7% of kids will actually play in college. You also
And
have
that
to
means
look at
D1,
that.
D2, and
That's all of it.
D3.
That's all of it.
Overscheduling is very easy to do, and summer's an exciting time, and kids want to go to camp, and they want to do what their friends are doing, and they want to do it all. And it's up to us to do what we can. But at some point in time, we have to remember we are our own worst enemy.
I definitely am.
And the overscheduling falls on you because you're the chauffeur, you're in our pooling, and now it's your turn. And it's a lot. And it only gets to be more serious when you're surpassing Dee Dee's age and now you're racing to be a part of the competitive club teams and you're jockeying for your position. And you hope that they naturally come to the decision that they want because of what they love. But all these things, you could have a bad coach that all of a sudden changes your love for the game, or you could have a bad experience or an injury or whatever. It's just so fun to be a kid. I'm not a gamer
But
mom, and I'm not a TV mom
Nope.
either.
And we also talked about this in past where we need to remind ourselves there isn't free play. There's very much a lot of free play at the beach. Like that's an inherent free play, but there's not a lot of free play out in the neighborhoods like there used to be. So being involved in sports and keeping some activity in front of your kid is really important. And I think that's why the travel sports have gotten to be such a important component of everybody's life, because you're not doing pickup on the local park. It's just not happening.
And the saddest part is kids can't have jobs.
By the time you're filling out your applications to go to college when you're in high school, a very common question on every app for every college is, where have you worked? What jobs have you had? And it's very hard when you have an athlete that plays 3 sports to contribute and say, oh, I had this job or I had that job. Thankfully, my kids have lifeguarded, which allowed them to work out and train and be in shape. It was the only job that my kids could have, besides maybe working at a gym, that really would allow them to do what they need to do all summer long so that they can go back in the fall and be ready to do the beep test and do their packet and prevail for the next season.
And we love it.
Best job.
Best job. I
Sports
just love
athletes.
talking with you, but I really want to know, who's our Gawker winner of the week?
Getting jiggy with it.
Because I was teeing up something fun. And where's that old dog teaching new tricks?
This is a fascinating story. He was 96 years old before he went to college and was the valedictorian of his class. Giuseppe Paterno from Italy went to Palermo University and graduated with highest honors. He was from a very large family. They could not afford to send kids on. He worked in the family business at a brewery, which his dad owned. From there, he enlisted and was in the service. And when he got out of the service, he was laying railways and working for a telegraph company. And always in the back of his brain, he said, I want to learn. I crave knowledge. I want to learn. I want to learn something that I decided instead of the direction that I was being pushed in. Now, if you can believe it, he might be 3/4 of the way through getting his master's degree. His mother lived until she was 100. He said, I've got 4 years to get my master's. And I just think it's true. You can teach an old dog new tricks. He went to school and he prevailed, but he did like to use an old fashioned typewriter instead of a computer for his work. So hats off to Giuseppe Paterno from Italia.
Giuseppe. Here's to Giuseppe.
Wait, Far, what was he studying?
He was studying philosophy. And if you can imagine, he got first honors and is Italy's oldest graduate ever.
That's awesome.
That's off to
Good
him.
for you. Go back to school. Go back to school. Go back to
keep
school.
That is
studying.
the lesson here. You're never too old.
Go
School
back.
is in session here at Girls Gone Gritty.
Because we're feeling so excited about going back to school. Not really, but maybe for some of us parents. That brings us to the song of the week, the lyric of the week, and that would be Jen.
Well, as we come back to school, we are reunited with people that have come from all walks of life. So this song, I want you to think about being in somebody else's shoes. I've seen a rich man beg. I've seen a good man sin. I've seen a tough man cry. I've seen a loser win. I've seen a sad man grin. I heard an honest man lie. I've seen the good side of bad and the downside of up and everything in between. I licked the silver spoon, drank from the golden cup, and smoked finest green.
Is that Kenny Rogers
No.
or Willie Nelson?
No.
I know that song.
You do know that song.
I know.
It's What It's Like by Everlast. It's a really good song. Goes looking at a store, looking for some change.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Girls Gone Gritty. So much fun talking about the chaos of kids in the Olympics in their life of sports and activities, which I'm in every single day because I gotta go back, pick up Dee Dee and go to soccer and tennis. And thank God there's time at the end of the
Lions
night.
and tigers and
diet.
bears.
There's time at the end of the day for a drink. And the best is she goes skiing next week. So we're throwing that into the mix too. It's lucky if you are able to offer them every sport in the planet, but do what's good for you, do what's good for the kids, and just make sure they're having a good time. Because if they're not having a good time and they feel the pressures of, I got to do it, I got to do it, I got to be the best, then that eventually gets to you. So go out, have a good time. Pick up a boogie board, go catch some waves with your kid and keep smiling because that's what we're doing at Girls Gone Gritty. And don't forget to go to social media platform, hit the click and subscribe button and give us a 2 thumbs up.
We're in.
Peace out.